Good evening, everyone. My name is Celestine Kreifels, and I am the first grade teacher here at St. Thomas the Apostle Catholic School. I am a graduate of Wyoming Catholic College and a classical educator by trade. Let me show you our beautiful classroom. Let's take a quick tour through our curriculum. We usually start our day early in the morning with phonics. This is just an example of the teacher's book. We use the Abeka phonics, which teaches all the sounds of the alphabet and all the special sounds, the odd sounds of the English language, and allows students to parse out their words in order to read more fluently faster. They don't have to memorize the whole word. They just have to memorize and learn the sounds in the English language, which are often tricky even for adults. We use charts such as this, which has the special sound SH and a picture of a ship. You see the word ship, and on the back, we have a bunch of words that have the SH sound in them. After phonics, we will go on to reading. We have a couple of reading programs. One of them is our Junior Great Books curriculum. And here we have some beautifully illustrated stories. Students love this one about a Native American boy and a rock monster. And we read the story a couple of times, and we have a discussion. Students wonder about the story, we ask questions, and they answer them, and they talk to each other more than me, and this develops their critical thinking skills. They have to use the text to prove their answers or get evidence for their thoughts on the story, and talk to the other students, whether they agree or disagree. They have to answer the questions of why, happening here, why would someone do this, and this just builds up that ability to think about what they are encountering, especially in the realms of reading and talking to other people. Along with our Junior Great Books, we use the Memoria Press Storytime Treasures. This is the teacher's manual. Here's the student workbook. And this combines more so than the Junior Great Books, the phonics, and spelling words. But you can do essentially the same thing. They read the story, they think about the story, answer questions about the story, and these things together just give them that solid reading foundation. Once we have finished phonics and reading, we'll move on to our writing, IUW. Now this is a very comprehensive writing program. We don't just write, we learn from the basics up the process of writing, how to write. We don't just throw them in and say, here's a topic, write about it. We teach them how to make outlines, how to pull out information from a text, and eventually build up to pulling it out of their own brains. Part of that process is poetry. They memorize poems, recite them back. We learn about parts of speech through a poem, meter, rhythm, rhyme, all these different things that go into writing. It's a great program that provides a solid, rock solid foundation for their writing career. In the afternoon, we'll come back and take on math. We use the Saxon math program, and you can take a quick look at the student book. We have fact pages, some worksheets, and some problem-solving sheets. Now, the great thing about Saxon is it teaches the core concepts and keeps repeating them. Not to the point of exhaustion. Keep learning new things. The old things are never forgotten. It spirals. And so there's review, plenty of review, which solidifies these mathematical foundations, giving them that ability to move on to the more complicated things. We have to build that when they're young. They can take it on into what they will do when they're older. When we've made it through math, we'll take on history. Now the students love history. And a lot of the reason for that is because it's told in stories. We don't learn simply about dates or study dry maps. We learn about the terrain of these countries, the geographical features. We learn about the people. We hear stories of saints and kings and warriors and martyrs. And they're told beautifully and in an exciting language by the author. And on top of that, we have an activity book with pictures and crafts and maps for them to write on. And they often draw pictures on the maps to use the images to remember where things happen. And this year in first grade, we're learning about Christendom. So this is just after the ancient world, which they learn in kindergarten. We go on to learn the history of the Christian world up until the early Renaissance. Towards the end of the day, we will either do science or religion. For religion, we have two different curriculum. We have the theology of the body for first grade, and this is absolutely brilliant. They use beautiful stories to teach the concepts of creation as a gift, that we are part of creation, what our place is in it, how we relate to God through these beautiful stories and through activities. So with our last book, we grew plants. In this book, we're going to adopt a betta fish. Our other religion curriculum is Spirit of Truth. And in first grade, it focuses on God as love. So that God gave us His Son, how we build a relationship with God, how we become part of God's family, the role of Mary, all these things are included here. First grade science is divided into 3 separate units. Air and weather, in which we learn about the concept that air is all around us, even though we can't see it, and how it interacts with the world. And we have plants and animals. It's pretty self-explanatory. We explore the living world. And then we have sound and light, where we learn about how sound works, what does sound do, and then the different properties of light, which the students in first grade just amazes them. All these subjects could easily be completely separate. They could be divided up into distinct units. However, in the classical tradition, everything is integrated beautifully because everything goes back to God. God is the very center. All the things we study reveal different aspects of Him. And rather than educating a child for utilitarian reasons, just to get a job, to be successful, things like that, or just because they have to, the point of the classical education is to form the human person and what the human person is made for. When we form the human person well, it leads the students, all of us, to what we're made for, which is our final end in union with God. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you soon.